Good morning and welcome to our live crafting session this morning. My name is Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you if you're joining me live. Do say hi and let me know that you're here. It's always nice to know who's watching with us. And if you're watching on replay, whether that is here on Facebook or on YouTube, then if you have any queries or comments, feel free to add those into the comment section. And if there's any questions that require an answer, I'll be more than happy to answer those. I do monitor those occasionally. Especially on Facebook, messages slip through the net, so if it is more urgent that you need a response, then don't hesitate to ask directly via email or Facebook Messenger direct to my private account. So let us see. This week we are doing alphabets. Whether they're alphabets from stamp sets, so I have two of those. I've got classic letters and alphabest. So this is lowercase and it has numbers and some extra symbols, and then this one is uppercase. It does have numbers as well, symbols, and these little foliage elements here. So I made a card yesterday. I have since tidied up and now I can't find that new home card that I made yesterday, but you'll be able to see it on our Facebook page. Today I thought we'd give the dies an opportunity, and just going to do some simple die cutting to create two cards using the same dies. Cut once and make two cards, one with the negative and one with the positive. At least that's the plan. So thank you for being patient. I am just checking that we're in the right place. There we are, and we're live. That's always good. Good morning, Jeanette. Apologies that I didn't make the live last night. I just had a busy day. I'd done two lives earlier in the day and I got back I just fell asleep. After all that though, that was obviously all I needed, because I then went on to carry on working for the rest of the evening. So it was still a productive day despite that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cut out the phrase hello from a piece of card, and then I'm going to use the positive and negatives. This is a piece of Melon Mambo, and what I'm going to do is use some adhesive sheet behind. This must be a new pack, I think, and this will allow us to, oh no, it's not new, adhere the letters without having to add glue to it and getting messy. So I'm just going to cut this piece off here, and as long as the piece is larger than the area you want to cut out, you're good to go. I'm hoping this will be, yeah, should be. And I'm going to put this in the middle of this section, I think, to cut out, because then I'm going to use those elements. So I can find the backing. So I hope everybody is well and looking forward to an Easter break. Let's just try and find the end. So this is a double-sided sticky sheet, perfect for die cuts. So I can take the, actually I'll just do it half. So I'm just going to do this in the middle. You could actually cut a piece of size if you wanted to, but I'm hoping to be able to use this piece for a backing. I'm just going to cut out the centre section. Okay, so there's my adhesive sheet on reverse. Thank you, Jeanette. I couldn't believe I woke up after I was supposed to be live. Okay, so I know this is roughly in the centre. So what I will do is, once this is die cut, you can peel the backing and then you've got the adhesive on the back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is turn that over, and I'm going to use the word hello. Obviously this is perfect for names, and you could put Easter, for example, and obviously we have the numbers as well. So I'm going to grab an H, an E, 2 L's and an O. So again, we've got multiple letters, which is really useful. It means that you can do them in one pass. And we have an O and a 0. So if you want a double O, I think they're actually the same. They are. Often the zeros are a different shape, but luckily this is the same, so you can interchange those two. Okay, so all I'm going to do is position this on here. I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape to hold it down, and I'm just positioning it roughly in the middle, because that's the side in the other side I've got my adhesive tape. Now if you would struggle to do that, then I would just cut a piece roughly to size that you want and then use that. Morning, Brenda. So I'm just going to position this. Now what I recommend you do is either draw a line. I've got a really useful T-square that I use all the time. You'll see me use it. You can get these from stationery shops, and that just helps you get these lined up. So I'm just going to do that. So I want it roughly in the middle. H, E, L, L, O. It makes it so much easier. Like so. And I'm going to leave that on there while I just put a piece of washi tape across the centre. I hope you're feeling better, Brenda, and that your cold has diminished. Okay, so I've got a piece of retired washi tape here. It's got numbers and things on it. I'm just using my clothing to just take off some of the stickiness, because I don't want it to stick and then tear my paper here, and I'm going to put it across at an angle like so. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is pop that through my die cutting machine. I've got it just off centre, so I've got my base plates. I'm going to pop this on, and as usual do it at an angle, because if I did it like that it's going to go over sleeping policemen one at a time and make a lot of noise, and it's not good for the system. So I'm going to angle that so that pressure is spread across that whole piece. A very old plate I picked out here on the top. There we go. So these are the alphabet alum mauve dies, but if you've got an existing alphabet die set, obviously that is perfect. What I like to do before I take everything off is make sure that it has cut right the way through, and I can see that it has in this instance. because it's easier to put it back through now than it is to try and put all the little pieces back. Okay, put that to one side. Now I've got a couple of layers that I'm going to use for my card. So I'm going to peel this off. And I'm just going to do it slowly because obviously the pressure of the plate does tend to push it onto the cardstock. So just peeling that away. Morning, Claire. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're still coughing, but as long as you're feeling better, that is a good sign, Brenda. Okay. So just taking my time to peel this off gently. Like so. And then the last one here. Okay, so the O in this case has got the middle part, which I will need, so I'm just going to leave that on there for a minute, because otherwise when I put this on a piece of paper behind, for example, my O doesn't have its middle, so I'm going to keep it in there for the moment, and then that will make it easier to pop it back in. Now I'm going to trim this one down in a second. Just going to start with a very simple set of layers. So I've got a Melon Mambo, I've got a white base layer. I'm going to pop this on, so there's 1/2 centimetre between each of those. And then I'm just going to put my letters back on here. And what you can do is, I'm going to try this, is I'm going to put these layers together and then put this back on to position my letters so that they're back in place. So it saves you having to line them up again. Okay, so all of these papers are retiring. So we've issued the retiring lists from the annual and our January to April catalogue. It's just going to go onto there, so I might as well put this down. Like so. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put this on here. Just use a little bit of tape. I could have just done it on that without attaching it to the card. Might have been easier, but never mind, it will do the job. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this down. Obviously you don't have to, if you're just doing one card, you could just put all the letters in quite close together and cut them all out in one go. So what I'm going to do is pop each of these out. If I can find my pokey tool. Like so. And I'm going to peel off the backing and then fit it back in, if that makes sense. Just make sure I've got it the right way. This is probably the most difficult bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to peel this off. Just being careful not to stretch it. Like so. And then I'm going to position it back in here. like so. So because I've taken the backing off, this will stick to the paper when I take this layer off. Hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to repeat that. I wonder actually if I can leave it in there. Let's see whether this will work. So just using the pokey tool, so if you've got take your pick tool, that would work perfectly. So again, just be careful as you're pulling that layer off. And then fitting it back in. Like so. Same with the L's. And the thing is not to handle these letters too much. I do like the fact that they are slim, which is perfect for card making, because you can get some quite long, you know, if you've got a long surname or a long name that you want to add in, so Happy Easter, in most cases that wouldn't fit in. So let's grab this one. So it's a bit duller this morning than it was yesterday morning. This time yesterday we were at Coffee and Card and it was blinding sunshine and really warm in the coffee shop. Today it's not quite the same. Okay, so you've got to have a little bit of patience for this, there's no doubt about it. Okay. So there's my centre. I'm just going to take that out because I'll need that for the other piece. And then just grab this one. So you don't want to be doing 50 of these in a hurry. That's for sure. You could, if you did, then I would use the Stamparatus and create this little template here. Just cut all the letters individually, so literally just put them, you know, together like that, cut through them, and then fit them back in like I'm doing now. So if you did want to do that many, you could. Okay, so I'm just using the Melon Mambo layer as a template so that I'm not worrying about getting these straight. Okay, so now I can remove this, just taking off my washi tape. Morning, Tracy. Ah, I'm so glad that you popped on, because I was racking my brains to work out, there we go, who was after the Pear Pizzazz ink refill. And because I put it aside ready, and I was thinking, who on earth did I promise that to? And I looked through all my messages, and of course we spoke, didn't we, in person? So thank you for that. Pear Pizzazz is safe. That's so funny. So thank you. Okay, so this is going to be our other panel, and what I'm going to do is put those to one side, make sure I haven't lost any. No, that's good. Is I'm going to cut this element out with my trimmer so that I can use this as a backing and then have the hello as a panel so you can see the flowers on the inside. Well, at least that's my theory. So I'm just going to line this top up here with this first line, or maybe the second line. Yeah, I'm going to do the second line. I can always trim it down, so I'm just looking through here. So that's the edge, that's the first line, that's the second line. And I don't mind going a little bit longer because I can trim that down. I'm going to do the same here with this edge. So so rather than measure it, you could obviously measure it. So that's the edge, 1, 2. So this is my cheats, no measuring way. Let's make sure I cut into that. Which I have. And they're going to repeat that here. So I'm just lining this up on what is the edge of the cut line. 1, 2. And this is only so that I can save a bit of card for those frugal crafters out there. Normally, if it was me, I would just cut a piece of Melon Mambo card to fit. But just to show you how you can do this and cut out a centre element. So this is on the edge. So I've got 1, 2. Like so. Alright, so I've still got my panel here that's going to go behind that, so I haven't wasted any of that. And then I've got my hello here, and I've measured each of those elements. I've got the centre of my O that's going to go back in. So what I can do is I can pop this up on dimensionals if I want. I need to do that with this piece as well. Or I can lay it flat. I know that I've got some sticky elements still there, but I'm not going to take that off if I use dimensionals, if that makes any sense. So let's pop these layers down. So I'm going to put this one down first, and just adding some adhesive like that. Just well stuck to my finger. So just using this for my border. So this is Melon Mambo. Like so. I've got this piece from the True Beauty that I cut to size. So this measures 9.5 by 13.85, and my Melon Mambo layer is 10 centimeters by 14.35. So those are the standard measurements that I use all the time. You can miss off the 0.05 if you would rather. Okay, so there's our panel there, and I'm going to put that onto there. Now, what I could do is put a different colour behind if I wanted to make that stand out. Let me just see if a piece of white would help it. I've got a piece here that's I've obviously scored wrong somewhere. Yeah, I rather like that. So I'm just going to cut a piece that will fit behind this. Let's grab a pencil. So this is the outside edge, like so. Just going to make it smaller than that. Oh, there's my postman come to collect parcels. Oh, excuse me. I think he needs a signature, maybe. No, he's just knocking the door. Good man. Okay, so you can vote whether you like the white behind. See what you think. I quite like that. Makes it stand out a little bit more, doesn't it? So, in order to put this piece behind, do I want a shadow? Do I want this raised up? No, I'm going to have this flat but the whole panel lifted up. So I'm just going to put, I can just use that, can't I? Anybody would think I'd thought about that beforehand, wouldn't you? Okay, let's pull that off. I'm not too worried about the middle elements. If it comes off, it comes off. But as the glue's there, might as well use it. There we go. Guess I should take that piece off. Okay, so I'm just going to put this over. Trim a little bit of that excess off. It does make it stand out, doesn't it? I wanted to see the pattern underneath, but I think actually it looks better like that. Right, so here is my O. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this back in this case, peel off the backing, and then pop it back in like that. That's quite as easy as it looks, is it? Alright, let's try that. It's because it's got the height of the die in the way. Let's see if I can do it like that. Not really. Got away with it. Okay, so what I did for this one was I put this back in and then put the letters through the cutouts. Obviously it doesn't work with the die because you've got the edge of the die on the inside, so it's wider. So I'm going to pop this up on some dimensionals. I've got some odd pieces here I can use up, like so. Voila. We'll use those up. I'll put a couple in the middle just for support. Okay, so let's put this on, and then you can decorate this up. It is, isn't it? I think 2 for 1 is always good value. There we go. Oops. Just taking these off. So I think alphabet and number dies are just so useful in your crafting stash, whether they're just stamps or whether they are dies if you have a die cutting machine. Okay, so this is going to go onto there. Hopefully got it fairly central. So those are my 2 cards. Now what I could do, so I've got some spare of this paper here, is I could fussy cut some of these flowers, for example, and put them round the edge, or put them on one side. Would look quite nice. So I'm running to time, so I'm going to stop there, but I could carry on and decorate that. I'll see what papers I have. Alternatively, I could stamp some small flowers and punch them out and add those, so maybe that's what I will do. But I wanted to show you the principle of getting the 2 for 1. So you could stack these up. If you wanted to cut 3 or 4 of these, you could stack up the layers to make a thicker layer. You could also cut these out with our foam adhesive sheets so that they are already on dimensionals. That would also work. But there we go. So I hope you like the 2 cards. I will just go on and decorate this one. Just to finalise it, I might add a little bit of bling. But I like the way those have both come out. So I hope you like those. So those are the alphabet a la mode dies. These you will find by looking on the website. They're not in the current catalogues. They are one of our online exclusives. And as you can see, you've got all the letters of the alphabet, you've got the numbers, and then you've got some additional items here. The complete set of these is £40, and these are available from our shop. So if you just go to the shop and type in alphabet, you will find those. So I'm going to rehome my letters while I remember. And I look forward to crafting with you tomorrow. So we'll be back tomorrow. That is Thursday. Goodness me. And I will be doing some more with the alphabets. So I hope to see you then. I will finish this one off. I'm going to stamp some flowers and decorate it. So I hope you like those. Let me just lift them up to the screen. So there's the one. That's the negative. And this is the positive. And if you feel that that was too busy, you could do effectively the same thing. I could have cut a layer, for example, of pool party to put behind here, or so saffron or daffodil delight to make that stand out. But I quite like how that came out. You can also cut the layers out of the paper and lift those up. That was a technique that was around a good few years ago now. Trying to desperately think of the name of the technique. I can't remember, but you cut out a panel using the letters. It worked particularly well with our previous alphabet because it was a little bit bigger, but it would still work with this. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining me, for those that are joining live. Obviously this will be on replay shortly. If you want to see the retiring items from our 2 catalogues, I uploaded the 2 videos yesterday. You can find those on YouTube. Just look for Jenny McCormack or Gemini Crafts. I also put a link on there yesterday evening, so you can find those. I've just found my new home card that I did yesterday. It was right in front of me. So that's the one I did with the alphabet set, using the large classic letters and the small alphabet. So I hope you like those. And I've given you incorrect information because it's the classic letters that are available as an online exclusive. And the alphabet set is, I'm pretty sure, is in the catalogue. So I'll just rewind. You'll be able to find it. That's the main thing. Thank you so much, everybody. Do take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, Thursday at 7 p.m. Thank you. Bye for now.